you had to move your money out of your country today and bet on one African market, where would you put it? Because right now, the Nigerian stock market recently crossed over 200,000 points for the first time in its history. South Africa's Johannesburg Stock Exchange is the most sophisticated market on the continent, and it has been quietly rewarding investors who understand what is really driving it. And Kenya's Nairobi Security Exchange, most investors outside East Africa have never even looked at it, and that is a big mistake. So today, we are putting all three markets in the ring to answer one question: where should you actually be putting your money right now for maximum returns? But before you pick a country, there's something you need to understand, because the number most people use to compare these markets is completely wrong. And if you use it, you'll pick the wrong market and leave real money on the table. So what is this wrong number everyone is using? Well, it is the number you see everywhere. The one that says Nigeria returned 40% to investors, South Africa returned 25%, the Kenyan market returned maybe 10% or 15%. And based off those figures, people pick a winner. But here's the truth: those numbers are only half the story, because they are measured in local currency. And if you're an investor thinking in dollars, that is where things start to break for you. Let me show you what I mean. In 2024, the Nigerian stock market returned about 37% in Naira terms. On paper, that looks like a great year, but over that same period, the Naira lost a huge chunk of its value against the US dollars. So if you were a diaspora investor, your real return wasn't plus 37%, it was closer to negative 20%. The market went up, but your real wealth actually went down. The same thing happened in Egypt. The market was up nearly 20% in local terms, but once you adjust for currency, investors lost over 25% in dollar terms. So you had this strange situation. A local investor left, the market richer. A global investor probably maybe invested from Nigeria, another African country, or maybe from the US, whatever country that is not that local currency. You came into that market and left poorer from the exact same market that the local investor came into. And this is the part most people tend to miss. The market didn't fail, the currency did. In Africa, currency is not a small deal when it comes to investing. It is something you adjust at the end of the day. And mostly because we as African countries, we tend to do a lot of importation. It is often the single biggest driver of your return, which is the USD terms. Now, here's the simplest way to think about it. Your real return is your market return, what the markets give you, plus or minus your currency movements. And sometimes you also have to adjust for inflation as well. So if your stock goes up like 40%, but your currency feels like by over 20% against the US dollars, you didn't really make 40% profit. You made something closer to like 20%. And the reverse is actually true, because in 2026, something interesting started to happen. The Naira actually strengthened slightly in the early part of the year. So Nigeria's market didn't just go up in Naira terms alone. It got an extra boost in dollar terms, which means something very, very important. The rankings between these markets can completely change just based on currency movements alone. So from this point on, we are going to track two numbers for every market: the local return, what domestic investors see, and the dollar adjusted return, what actually matters if you're investing across the continent. Because when you put these two things together, you stop guessing and you start seeing who is actually winning. So let us go market by market, starting with the one everyone is already talking about, which is the Nigerian stock market. This is where most people expect the story to actually start and end, because on the surface, Nigeria looks like the clear winner. I mean, the market has returned crazy amounts to investors. To be specific, the Nigerian Exchange Group delivered a massive 54.5% return in Naira terms between January and the end of April 2026. That is not normal, guys. That is a full year return compressed into just 4 months. Mind-blowing numbers. And this wasn't actually random. 3 sectors drove almost the entire move. The oil and gas sector is up over 60%. Industrial goods, cement and infrastructure plays up over 50%. And financial services, which is the banks, they are up over 40%. I mean, this is astonishing, guys. At the center of it all was also one event, which is the banking shakeup, where 13 major banks in the country were pushed to grow their cash reserves significantly, and in just a few months, the top value of listed banks jumped from about 8 trillion naira to over 20 trillion naira. Crazy, guys. Crazy things happening in Nigeria. In fact, in the first 90 days of 2026 alone, the Nigerian equities market created nearly 30 trillion naira in new wealth, the largest single quarter wealth creation event in the history of the market. So yes, on the surface, Nigeria looks like the clear winner. But here's where it gets very interesting. For once, the currency didn't fight the market. It actually helped it. The Naira actually strengthened by about 5% against the US dollars over the same period of time, which means that with 4% return in Naira translates to roughly 45 to 47% in dollar terms. That is still very, very much massive, but it is also the real number. And one more thing you need to understand, part of this move is not pure growth, it is recovery, because the 2023 devaluation resets the entire market. So some of what looks like a 2026 gain is the market finally reclaiming value it's already lost. Still, at this point in the story, Nigeria is in the lead, but here is one event coming in the second half of 2026 that could either accelerate everything or reset the clock entirely. We'll get into that in the later part of this video. Let's move back to South Africa, because South Africa has been doing something quietly that changes the whole picture. On the surface, South Africa looks like a much more slower market. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange returned about 24.8% in rand terms over the same period compared to Nigeria's 54%. That doesn't look like competition. It doesn't look like both of them are on the same page. But the JSE is a very different kind of market, because a large portion of its biggest companies don't actually earn their money in rand. They earn in dollars. Mining companies, global tech holdings, energy firms, roughly 60 to 70% of the entire exchange is made up of what investors call rand hedge stocks. So when global prices move, the JSE move. And in 2026, one thing that has been driving that move, gold. Gold prices have been pushing higher, and South African mining companies have been a major beneficiary because their costs are in rand, but their revenue are in dollars. So even when the rand weakens slightly, and it did by about 0.6%, those companies don't suffer. They actually become more valuable in local terms. So when you adjust for currency, South Africa's return comes in at around 24% in dollar terms. Now compare that to Nigeria. Nigeria is explosive, South Africa is stable, but globally leveraged, and suddenly the gap between them doesn't look as wide as the headline suggested. And then there's Kenya, the one almost nobody is paying attention to. The Nairobi Securities Exchange, on paper it looks quiet. The market returned about 9.5% in local currency terms in early 2026. The Kenyan shilling weakened slightly by about 0.7%. So in dollar terms, you are looking at roughly 9% return compared to Nigeria and South Africa. That doesn't stand out. But this is where most investors make a mistake. They look at the number and ignore the direction, because Kenya is not in a boom, it is in a recovery. In 2023, the shilling collapsed towards 150 per US dollar. The market was deeply discounted. Confidence was low. Fast forward to 2026, the currency was stabilized in the 130 shilling per dollar range. The market is climbing back and the economy is being anchored by ongoing IMF-backed reforms. But now let's stop the guessing and really look at the scoreboard. Now here's what the table you're seeing on your screen really mean. First, Nigeria didn't just win, it dominated. That's why they call it Giant of Africa, right? The Nigerian Exchange Group delivered the highest local return and the highest dollar-adjusted return. That almost never happens in African market, because usually currency takes something away. But in 2026, Nigeria broke that spell. The market went up and the currency strengthened as well. So instead of losing value on conversion, investors actually got a bonus or were able to hedge themselves properly. That is why Nigeria sits clearly in the first place. But before you jump to a conclusion, you need to understand something important. A large part of this performance came from a very specific moment. You see, mid-April 2026, Nigeria's return was sitting around 24%, 30%-ish range. But by the end of April, it had jumped to over 54%. That means almost half of the entire gain happened in just 2 weeks. 2 weeks, guys. The same thing happened in South Africa as well. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange moved from roughly 14% to nearly 25% in that same window. So what you're looking at here is not just steady growth. It is a late cycle surge, and it tells you something about timing. Now, let's put this into proper perspective. If you're a Nigerian investor earning and spending in Naira, then the 54% return is your reality, by inflation. That is real wealth creation in your local economy. If you're investing from the outside, measuring your money in USD, then the only number that matters is the dollar adjusted return. And in that world, Nigeria still comes out on top. But now look at South Africa, a 24% return with exposure to global commodities and companies earning in dollars. That is a very different type of investment. You are not betting on local reform, and that's why some of these stocks don't move based on South Africa's local reform. You are buying into a system that is plugged into the global economy. And then there is Kenya. On paper, it looks like the laggard one, the one that is performing the worst. But that 9% return is happening during a recovery, not a boom. The currency has stabilized, the macro story is still improving, and the upside is still developing for this particular country. So here's the real conclusion, guys. There is no single best market in Africa. That's the simple truth. There is no winner, there is no loser. There's only the market that matches what you're optimizing for. So moving forward, here's what matters for you as an investor looking at the African markets. Starting with Nigeria, the first thing is the currency. If the Central Bank of Nigeria can hold the naira stable while earnings continue to grow, then the Nigerian exchange group remains the most powerful return story on the continent. But there is a second layer to this, which is the Dangote refinery. If that IPO hits the market in second half of 2026, it doesn't just add a new stock, it injects billions of liquidity to the exchange and could reshape the entire market overnight. So Nigeria right now is what I call a hinge trade. If policy hold, this rally continues. If the naira slips again, a portion of those gains disappear just quickly. Now, moving over to Johannesburg, this market is no longer just about South Africa. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange is effectively a leverage play on two things, which is gold and stability. If gold continues pushing towards the $5,000 per ounce range and the government of national unity holds together, then JSE listed mining and global companies still have a room to run. But if gold stalls, the headline returns slow down, even if the businesses themselves are still strong. So South Africa is a different kind of bet for an investor, less explosive than Nigeria, but far more connected to global cycles. And finally, the quiet one, which is Kenya. This is the most misunderstood story of the entire three exchanges or markets. The Nairobi Securities Exchange is not in a boom phase, it is in a recovery phase. And recovery trades have one rule: they only work if discipline holds. So if Kenya stays aligned with its IMF program, keeps the shilling stable, and manages its debt properly, then this quiet recovery continues to build and could explode further self. But if that discipline breaks, the entire story could reverse. So Kenya offers something very few markets do right now: real upside with very real fragility. So that's it, guys. Three markets, three completely different stories. And the biggest mistake you can make right now is chasing the highest return without understanding what is actually driving that particular market. Because the best investment is not the one that's performed the most, it is the one that fits the currency you earn, the risk you can handle, and the timeline you are playing. So I want to know in the comment section, guys, where are you watching from and which of these markets do you actually have money in right now? Drop in the comment section. I read everything, and if this gave you clarity you are not finding anywhere else, share it to one person in your circle who has been asking which African stock markets to invest in. That share costs you nothing, guys, and it might change how someone you care about builds wealth in the continent of Africa. If you want more breakdowns like this about African markets, Nigeria, different African countries, how money flows globally, do not subscribe to the channel, guys, and smash the like button as well. Also, there's a link in the description and pinned comment to join my WhatsApp channel. That is where I share real-time market updates when these markets move and when my thinking changes. As usual, don't forget to stay sharp, stay safe, and invest wisely. Demo.